Justin made you a smoothie.
What flavor, Harry?
Banana.
You forgot to make it super swaggy!
Hi.
Welcome to No Boys Allowed. This is a really bad episode.
But we aren't any more less enthusiastic, and we're not any more discouraged by the fact.
I'm actually very discouraged and very enthusiastic.
I challenge you to fix that by the end of this episode. I challenge you.
I'm not going to fix it. I am just going to tell somebody that it's broken.
I challenge you to find inspiration within yourself.
I'm just gonna tell somebody.
This is
it's
the
broken.
transformative power of the self. Hey, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm God.
Oh wow, just like Halsey.
I am not a
Woman,
woman.
I'm a god.
I am not a legend. I'm a
Bam,
problem.
lam. That's crazy.
I really love that album. I that was the first thing I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Being back in this room.
That's right. No, the first thing we talked about
And-
back in this room was Lord.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
That was the second thing I talked
Nope.
about.
It was the first
was
thing.
It?
Yep.
Never mind.
Who are you? We still haven't figured out who you are yet.
I don't know either.
Okay, that's
We
fine.
could be here all day.
Okay.
Anyway, we're gonna talk about male mediocrity. Sorry, all the mics are the mic that's usually not broken is broken.
Uh-huh.
And this is the only one that works that isn't Justin's.
Yep.
And sounds pretty good, girl.
I just think it's really cool that we finally had male privilege made manifest in the studio today because I'm the only person who sounds good.
Yeah.
As per usual,
That's
no
right,
problems. No problems.
That's right, isn't it?
It's not only right, it's correct.
Not only is it right, it's also correct.
It's also correct. I would say it's true and it's accurate.
Okay, let me get focused on the subject.
Yeah, we lost
okay,
about
male
5 minutes.
mediocrity. I'm sorry I sound bad.
It's okay.
I'm actually not in the studio. I'm actually in space right now. That's why I sound like this.
Well, the moon landing actually isn't real and didn't happen.
Oh my God, what?
We can talk about it later.
That's what Gerard Carmichael says.
That's what a lot of people say.
I like that he says that. I think it's funny.
Who's Gerard Carmichael?
Comedian?
Oh, you've mentioned
Comedian.
him before. Yeah, I do
He
remember
was
this.
sitting next to Taylor Swift at Lena Dunham's wedding.
And he said that the moon landing didn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you think that she believed him?
Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
I don't know if he talked about that, but I don't think she did.
hope they did, and I hope she doesn't believe it's real.
I don't think she. Oh, you think you hope that Taylor Swift thinks the
Yeah,
is
'cause
a
I think
landing truther?
I think it'd be funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the more the less harmful trutherisms, as long as it doesn't
I'm sure it's rooted in anti-Semitism.
They
in
all
one way or
are.
another.
They're always. That's
But
always
that
where
one
they.
seems less obvious
Yeah.
than every other.
Every single other
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. Anyway.
Male mediocrity. So male mediocrity. I don't know if this is a term that's real or just something that I say all the time.
Mhm.
I'm the first person to ever have said this.
Have you ever thought about how you are the first person to comment on men being mediocre in pop music?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
I'm going to. That's why we're here.
Ugh, thank God.
But before we jump into that, the main subject, should we do music news?
Oh,
Music
yeah, sure. What's the news?
What are the music news that we've been talking about that happened in the past week that we missed last time?
I don't know. What was it?
Well, there's one big thing that you and I were talking about earlier, and that is the woman of color in Little Mix.
The woman of color in Little Mix. Because as we know, there were 4 people in Little Mix, and only one of them was a woman of color, and that one was Jessie Nelson.
It is Jessie Nelson. Now,
What
Jessie-
do you?
What do I what?
No, you asked me what you say to me what you were gonna say.
What was I gonna say about her?
What you almost said just did. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you to ask your opinion on that. I haven't heard. Did you hear the song?
Oh, of course not.
I didn't hear the song either.
Yeah, so I feel like there's very little to talk about song wise.
But I do think it's always funny whenever I know it's a serious subject, race is serious.
Racism is very serious.
It's
you guys.
very serious,
Mhm.
but it's always
You heard it here
to
first.
me very funny to watch these blackfishing white women
Yeah.
awkwardly justify what they're doing.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes they don't comment on it.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't say it at all.
But sometimes it's I know Nikita's not white, but Nikita Dragon when
Mhm.
she I don't know if she rocks braids or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
She's done a lot of things.
She's done everything, hasn't
Nikita's
she?
done a couple things wrong, I would say.
just sitting and watching her try to, or like being like, okay, so I know what I have on.
Okay, I know it looks
But
bad, but you guys, you're
hear
gonna
me
laugh.
out.
You're gonna laugh.
You're
It's
gonna
gonna.
laugh.
When I tell you, you're gonna laugh.
You're gonna laugh when you hear why I'm doing this. I don't know anything about Little Mix. There's
Neither
very
do I.
little that I care about.
Yeah, agreed.
Justin and I have talked about this many times personally.
I just don't think that they have anything going on. I think they're even less interesting than Fifth Harmony, which is really saying something.
There's really nothing there, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're more popular in Britain.
Probably.
I don't know.
They won a Brit Award.
Yeah, bar's low.
Did you know that they were the first? I think they were the first group since they're like the first girl group since Girls Aloud to win.
What's Girls Aloud?
Exactly.
Okay.
I just remember
Is that
them making
British thing?
Yeah, they're another
Okay.
girl group, and I remember them making a point of it at the Brit Awards. Like, we're the first girl group since Girls Aloud to win a Brit Award.
British
And that's what they
music
sound like
is
because
always worse than
yeah,
American
it's always
music.
worse.
I'm sorry,
At least
I
the
don't know
pop.
what
I
it
think
is.
their mainstream pop music is always worse, and nobody
Yes.
wants to talk about it. But I want to talk about it right now.
I mean, being British
And
is
you know what?
inherently being lesser.
I'm gonna let's finish up on Jessie Nelson really quickly.
Okay. I
Um,
don't have that many opinions besides haha.
I think it's really embarrassing that she decided to release.
Nicki Minaj,
Yeah,
of
I think it's
course.
really embarrassing that she decided to release a song where she's like, I like a bad boy, and the bad boy in question is just like a black man, like just a man who is
God.
black. And then both Nicki and Diddy co-signed on this song and have been like defending Jessie up and down, probably because I don't know, her label paid them really well to do that.
Probably.
And yeah, and I think
They
that
could also have that opinion because Nicki Minaj.
well, Nicki
also
Minaj is a
has
crazy
bad
person,
opinions,
and
I don't know
Diddy-
anything about P. Diddy.
Diddy's just rich and doesn't have
Yeah,
to
he
care.
isn't.
Doesn't
He
have to
doesn't.
care if he doesn't want to. But I do.
I don't know why, but I get him confused with T.I., who is a completely different person.
Yeah, those are two separate people.
But in my brain, I'm always like, well, Diddy, you're the one who made your daughter do that. And I'm like, yeah. it's
Wait,
T.I.
that is not Diddy.
I literally don't know why I get them confused.
I know why. It's because of racism.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Ladies
I'm
and
kidding.
gentlemen.
Everybody, I am kidding.
ladies
I
and
just want to
gentlemen,
tell everyone that I am kidding, but I do think that this
We got
topic
'em.
of Little Mix being bad and British pop music being bad does segue nicely into our main topic, which is
our
that.
main topic, okay, so male mediocrity. Oh, is there any other news? Oh, Mitski has a new song I don't care about.
Yeah, Mitski's a new song I don't care about.
Can I talk about Mitski? And
Very
how much
quickly,
I
yeah.
Don't care about
I just
Mitski?
I wanted to say
I'm
this joke.
so sorry, but I really don't care.
I don't care about Mitski. I wanted to say this joke on our Ariana episode and I never got to, but I did want to wish a happy holiday to the worst person you know, because that new Mitski song came out. Like literally, like that's the joke. Like I hope
Happy
you.
holidays to the worst
Yeah,
person
literally,
you know, the
literally.
Mitski
I hope.
fans.
Yeah, listen. Like, wish a happy holiday to like the person in your life who like you know kind of sucks because like they're celebrating right now because there's a new Mitski song out.
That's what's great about Mitski fans is that they all are annoying.
They're all annoying.
But I also, even if the fans weren't annoying, I kind of, no, I think one of the biggest problems I have with her is that I don't like her fans. And if she didn't have annoying fans, I definitely, and if she didn't kind of, like, if I also don't love her as a person.
Hmm. Even though admittedly there is very little to know about her.
Yeah, but everything I've seen of her, I mean, I know talking poorly and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? She was being kind of
Dismissive?
pretentious
Pretentious,
about
yeah.
not liking Taylor Swift, which
Right.
is always a red flag to me.
I agree.
And that always sticks in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm a Swiftie, but because the type of people.
I mean,
who don't
any like
somebody- yeah.
any artist like making it a point to like distinguish themselves from any pop star in general is like, shut up, you're annoying.
Yeah.
You've got nothing going on. I don't know. I like Mitski's music, but I
I
think
like some of it. This is not to say I don't like her music. I find very little very interesting.
yeah, I agree.
I find her lyrics not better than like Lana Del Rey.
I think
half
that
the
I
time.
think that Mitski has gotten away with writing the same song 50 times, and I don't.
She just
I'm
reminds
not
me of
interested
Lana
in
Del
it
Rey,
anymore.
And I feel like people see her very like with a lot of artistic merit.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I don't really care.
Mhm.
I don't like discussions about artistic merit because I find it all to be gross at
Yep.
the end of the day. Because like,
It's completely subjective, so who cares?
yeah, but people have this huge like worshiping nature to her, and I know like her music is important to people, but also. I just don't like the attitude surrounding her.
No.
And I'm sure I just don't know exactly what it is yet that
Mhm.
bothers me, and I'm sure I will later once I think about it more. But there's something that's always been, like, kind of that's always bothered me. I can't put my finger on it.
lastest thing I want to say about Mitski is that like I understand why everyone. I don't believe that Mitski is a bad artist. I actually think that musically she's very gifted, and I like sonically almost all of the songs she's ever put out, like on some level sonically. I am so sick of the expectation that we have to engage with Mitski's music as poetry in order to enjoy it. Like, how about we just no, I don't really feel like doing. Sometimes I don't feel like doing
that's kind of
homework
like
when I
a
listen to
big
music. I just want to
thing.
listen to music. If that's okay.
Well, my
If that's
problem with her
okay.
is I don't. She's very inconsistent sonically, and that's always something that bothers
Mhm,
me.
mhm.
Is if, like, I know what her voice sounds like, and I know what her lyrics sound like, but sonically, there's very little to go off.
I'm
of.
okay with that. She doesn't really have like one set thumbprint like with music, but rather like a consistent like little set of things, like, you know,
Mhm.
Make Out Creek and Puberty 2 have like two completely different
Yeah.
vibes than like Be the Cowboy, and her first two albums, which in my opinion are like not great, especially okay, I like Lush, but I do not like Retired from Sad. I don't know if you, I don't care.
No,
That's, you don't
I
care,
don't
which is
care.
fine.
I'm retired. Well, here's also, I will say Mitski has what I like to call Fallout Boy syndrome,
Uh-huh.
where if you played the song, I would go, I know this song. This is a Mitski song.
And then the second the song ended, I would
don't-
forget about it.
No, I don't know the name of that song.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You
sure.
could not. I could not tell you the name of that song.
Well, Retired from Sad is an album.
I know, and I know
Yeah.
I've listened to songs off that album. I could not tell you what songs they were.
Look at
called.
you, Strawberry Cow. Make me go, wow.
Oh my god! Remember people were like mad about
Yeah, that was really stupid, wasn't it? When people are like genuinely upset about that, about like a stupid meme.
Yeah, there was for context, there was a meme about it was not even a meme. It was just people liked drawing
People just
strawberry cows.
replaced the lyrics to Mitski's Strawberry Blonde with "Look at you, Strawberry Cow, make me go wow," and that like was like a bridge too far for like several
Thought
people.
it was, like
An
trivializing
insult,
the song,
an act of active whitewashing. I don't know. I in general.
It would be cow washing, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah, it would. It would be. In general, okay. Personally, in general, I always take issue with people being like, you can't make fun of this song because it's about a serious topic. People have done that with like a song by the Black Eyed Peas. Where is the love?
Oh.
You can't make a joke out of Where is the Love. It's a serious song about a serious topic. It's
That
like, okay,
song
that's
is
true.
inherently hilarious.
That's true. It's also literally written by the Black Eyed Peas. So, no. I don't know. I think that like being overly reverent of like any music ever is like really embarrassing and weird. Anyway. And that's why I don't like Harry Styles. Full circle.
Styles. Finally, we're
Full
getting to the
circle.
topic. No, but I do think talking about. I just wanted to talk about news.
No,
for a
I
second.
agree. I
Can
like
not
that.
Talk about news.
No, you can't talk about the news. This is a family program.
This is a family. Okay, so male
Families don't have time for the
mediocrity.
news.
Circling back to what I didn't finish saying, is I've noticed there is a trend where male pop musicians are almost. I think there are exceptions for sure, because there's lots of boring female pop musicians.
Oh, yeah.
But male musicians pretty much always have less interesting music.
Mhm.
Almost always. Unless you're just not really unless you're not a pop musician and you're in some type of counterculture or just in an entirely different genre,
Right.
all the biggest male pop musicians are not good.
Well, I think for one thing,
Or boring.
for starters, like as a base level, for a lot of male musicians, we are a lot more interested in like differentiating male musicians by genre than we are in differentiating female musicians by
Yeah.
genre. I think, especially
Yeah.
at least in the pop space, it's like I feel like at this point it's very hard to deny that an artist like Post Malone makes pop music, and yet Post Malone still gets to be considered rap,
Yeah, even though
And-
he hasn't done a rap album.
and
In a
Doja
while.
Cat is not rap.
Yeah, Doja is always pop.
Yeah,
and
Doja,
never-
who I would say like does still lean more pop.
I think she's a balance of both.
Yeah, but like Doja is exclusively pop, whereas like we're still like Justin Bieber gets to just call himself R&B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Justin Bieber gets to like just state for the masses like, actually, I think that I'm an R&B artist, and everyone's like, God, you're so right, Justin, you are an R&B artist. It's like that's weird and silly to me. And then also I do think we need. What are you laughing at on your little phone? What are you laughing at on your little phone? Do you want to share with the class what you're laughing at on your little phone?
I sent to the chat of my astronomy class. The mic 1 in digital is
No!
mega broken. It does not. And he said, mic 1? I'm not sure what we're talking about. I said, oh gosh, wrong chat. I'm sorry. I meant that for the radio.
Iconic. Oh, I almost dropped my phone on the floor.
So that always happens to me.
It's okay. That's okay. So, I want to just cut right to the chase.
Go on.
Can we please talk about how we give male musicians a pass to be boring because they're attractive?
Yep.
Like, can we please talk about it? All right. In fact, I do want to even more so cut to the chase. I want to get to exactly what I'm assuming people are tuning in for because this is what I posted about on my Instagram story.
Yep, we
Guys,
don't like Harry Styles.
Harry Styles isn't very good. I don't know. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but like Harry Styles doesn't make good music.
Yeah, he has some of... I mean, I wrote, because I've listened to his first album. I've heard it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it a good amount of times. And I always thought, it's just very forgettable.
Yeah.
And then Fine Line was really big.
Yeah.
I liked Lights Out, but I didn't really give the album a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I listened to it very late. I wrote a blog piece about it. You could find it. It's buried in the WMUC blog. And I tried to give Fine Line a chance, and it was one of the most horrendous experiences.
Now, I think your opinions on it are somehow more strong about it than mine are, because
I will tell you why.
Yeah, I know.
You know why.
Yeah, I know why, but I'd love for you to say it.
I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead,
I'm
say
gonna
it.
say it.
Why don't you
Well,
go ahead
first
and
of
say
all,
it?
I think most Harry Styles fans, I'm so sorry to every Harry Styles fan. I'm not saying that you're stupid.
But, okay.
I'm not saying you're stupid, but I am saying that if you... Harry Styles, all he does, there is literally... This is really, really harsh, but there is no original music from Harry Styles.
There's not a single thought in that man's head.
All of his songs are either like bland pop music, just regular bland pop music, or pretty much directly stolen from classic rock tropes.
Yeah,
that I can immediately identify.
I'm really sick of pretending that like Harry Styles is in any way, on any grounds, and I'm not just talking about music, y'all know what I mean, in any way groundbreaking or interesting when he does kind of just make like the same music that like anybody's dad could listen to, but like while wearing a dress.
So what I did, after a while, so the beginning of Fine Line is pretty much his big pop hits.
Right.
It's like Golden and
Right.
the Adore You and
Right.
the pop ones. Those are just pop songs. Very little interesting. I do think that those ones, his pop ones, have the potential to be better.
Yeah.
There's just very little interesting instrumentation or interesting choices or interesting lyrics. They have a great foundation.
They have the potential to be better, but they're really boring and
They're
bad.
really boring. But the song itself is fine. Like, it's a fine foundation for a song.
Yeah.
But there is very little. And so what happened as the album went along, and it went less from rock and more to, like, trying to be classic rock, is I sat there and I just started writing. I was like, okay, this is stolen from Paul Simon, this is stolen from Led Zeppelin, this is a Beatles inspiration, this is... Like, I just was, like, writing out. I'm like, this is, like...
Right.
Like, if you're a Harry Styles fan, I just feel like you probably don't listen to any of those genres very well. And I'm not saying you have to. Like, you can enjoy his music. Good for you. Like, I'm happy.
Right.
But so what happens when I wrote my piece for Fine Line is I made a playlist of, like, every song that if you're a Harry Styles fan and you knew those songs, you probably wouldn't listen to Harry Styles because there's so many more interesting versions of those songs. Because he's just watering down classic rock tropes, you know?
I think part of the issue is that, like, Harry Styles, and this is, I think, true of maybe most of the One Direction boys, but especially Harry. Harry Styles clearly has some kind of hang-up about actively being called a pop star. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know enough about him.
I'm not making this off of any personal assessments, but I'm saying that he's not leaning into the poppiness of his music because I don't think he wants to be considered like a pop star in the same way. Like, I think Harry Styles clearly like fancies himself a rock star or like an indie rock guy, but he's literally like the pretty boy from One Direction, and I don't think he's ever going to be able to escape that. Nor should at this point he try
There's
to.
a separate problem with Harry Styles, which is also reflective of a wider problem. Which is straight men or not out men. Because I don't know if he's straight. He has not come out as anything in particular.
Right.
And that's okay. He doesn't need to.
Right.
That's a different conversation.
That's a different conversation.
I'm not talking about queer dating.
We're not going to have it.
I don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it.
Different issue.
Yeah.
Non-out men get significantly more pats on the back for gay men for doing anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lil Nas X, people like if Harry Styles did half the things Lil Nas X did, it would be huge.
Yes.
Like, Lil Nas X is already big. Everything
Yes.
he does is big.
Harry Styles did those things, and this is a race thing also.
Oh, it's also
a race thing.
It's also right.
Not
race
yeah.
thing, 100%.
He would be the biggest artist on the planet right now if he was doing
yeah.
half the things that Lil Nas X was doing.
And Lil Nas X is big,
Yes.
but also, yeah, if he was white and not out.
Well, you know what it is, though? I think, again, and this goes back to Harry Styles not wanting to be considered a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that, this is, I think this is very similar to what Gnome told us about Ariana Grande. I think that Harry Styles also doesn't have a sense of humor. About his music.
Yes.
About his music.
He is so serious. I think, yeah.
I think he takes himself very seriously. In a way that is not appealing.
That's also a problem I have with any artist who wants to put a line between them and pop music. And I love Halsey, but Halsey has done this.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
really
like,
embarrassing.
I find it to be honestly internalized misogyny whenever anybody is so like, I don't want anything to do with pop.
Mm-hmm.
Because
like,
to
why?
me, pop is so much more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
People associate it with femininity.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the problems people have with pop are not problems people have with male pop musicians.
Right, yeah. They're only associated with female pop musicians. Because, again, I think we actively do allow male pop musicians to exist outside of pop music. Like, we can pretend that that Maroon 5 is still, like, a rock band.
Oh, for sure.
We pretend that Maroon 5 makes rock. You know what I mean?
Are they even a band? Like, what do the other members do?
Do you know that there are, like, 6 people in Maroon 5?
That's a lot of, like, what do half of them do?
Stand there. Stand around.
They have, like, that really corny, like, synthy sound.
Yeah.
That, like, Taylor Swift 1989 stolen sound.
And they've had it for, like, the past, like, 10 years at this point. Couple of years.
I'd say after V, their album V.
That was, like, what, 2013?
V was 2013,
Yeah.
so anything after that.
Yes, we're creeping up on, that's 8 years, dude.
Yeah, 8
We're
years.
creeping up on 10 years. That's insane.
What was that song? I wouldn't remember because all their songs are the same.
Mm-hmm.
But there's Girls Like You.
Yeah, Girls Like You.
Horrendous.
Terrible song.
Horrendous. All of their songs have sounded like that.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, when V came out, was I still jiving with Maps? I was absolutely
Yeah, Maps
jiving
is a good
with
song.
Maps.
Do you know, I think Maps was nominated for an Oscar.
What? Oscar?
Yeah.
What was it in?
Some movie musical.
A movie musical?
Yeah.
What?
It's called Begin Again. It has Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley in it, I think.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I don't feel like looking.
And it's like a musical.
Oh, wild.
Okay.
Go Maroon 5.
You learn something new every day.
So
Adam Levine got an Oscar nomination before Taylor Swift did, and I think that's great.
So sad. Anyway, yeah, by the way, if you're wondering, Justin and I both believe that Taylor Swift, the song that she wrote for Cats, should have been nominated.
I believe that Taylor Swift has written several songs that should have been nominated for an Oscar at this point. Safe and Sound.
Oh, yes.
And Safe and Sound probably would have been nominated, but the Oscars have weird technicalities about what gets to be nominated, and I'm not going to go into here. Sweeter Than Fiction isn't even a good song, and I still think that it's better than 90% of nominees in that category.
Yeah. A lot of the songs that are nominated are bad.
Only the Young, obviously. Again, another bad song, but one that should have been nominated.
Yeah.
And then, Beautiful Ghost. That's 4.
Beautiful Ghost I like a lot.
That is 4.
Anyway, so one of the things about Harry Styles, another thing, I just really want to emphasize, like, the dress thing was very interesting. Well, first of all, conservatives, again, they would not be mad if it was a gay person, first of all, so that already wouldn't have been a story.
Ooh.
They would just be mad because
it's a gay person, yeah.
Gay, but not
They would.
because of the
So
dress.
you're saying, not because of the dress in particular.
Mhm.
Okay, I think I can see. Yeah, I feel like that's true.
Because if Lil Nas X went out there in a dress, everybody would be like, well, he's gay, so of course he's wearing a dress.
That's true.
That's what
There
gay
also
people
would
do.
I will say there also would have been another race element though.
Oh, and race.
That look at Lil Nas X is destroying the black man. It's like, oh god.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know there's also separate conversations about like black men and gay things.
Yeah.
That is not my lane.
We're out of our depth, so let's go back to Harry Styles.
Harry Styles, I do want everybody to sit and really like think about like he's gotten so much applause
For so little.
So that's just something
I'm
I think
sorry.
that we should consider.
I'm sorry. Can we just discuss?
I mean,
for,
why?
For so little. Harry Styles had a teeny tiny purse at the Brits this year. Isn't that groundbreaking? He had a teeny tiny purse.
Yeah.
Everybody, let's give him a standing ovation for his teeny tiny purse and his ugly boa. Give it up for Harry Styles, everybody.
I just didn't like that look, which is different.
I'm clapping for Harry Styles. These aren't the only things that are clapping, though, I must say.
Aren't the only things that are clapping.
I'm just kidding. Do you remember how they opened the Grammys with Harry Styles and it was like the least good performances of the night?
trying to remember who
One
else
of the-
performed. Haim was the best.
In the first chunk, it was like him, Haim,
Haim.
and Black Pumas, and he was the worst.
Black Pumas and Billy.
Was he? Was she in the first
They
one?
were all back to back. There's a bunch of
Okay,
back-to-back
yeah.
performances. Or at least I think it was.
I think.
There's also, I will say, by the way, I love watching the Grammys.
I love to watch the Grammys.
Live performances are some of my favorite parts of television, so I talk about live performances a lot.
Mhm. I disagree, but I do like that for you.
Watching
I like
live
that for you. Yeah.
I don't always watch them live, but I'm
Sure.
interested.
Oh yeah, but I like to
will say
watch
Harry
them back.
Styles was bad. Cardi B was the worst in that show.
I think that's insane of you to say, but okay.
Cardi B, well, have you seen that performance?
Yeah, I didn't think it was terrible.
She was just lip syncing the whole time. And
Harry
it was,
Styles
really
didn't.
bad.
Harry Styles didn't. At least like Cardi was kind of dancing and like had
Okay,
visuals
that's
going
true.
on. Harry Styles was just like shimmying, like
True.
passive.
That's true. It
He
was
has
not
no.
good.
Can we talk about this? First of all, back to celebrity blind items. My favorite thing ever. Remember when I told you that there was a celebrity blind item about a certain everybody's favorite pop star had a super public concert and like whenever he was off stage he'd do a bump of coke.
Oh yeah.
It was Harry, obviously.
yeah,
it was revealed to be Harry. Guys, he has no stage presence without like assistance, with like heavy assistance.
Well, I've seen the clips people posted.
They were
of him
not
live.
good. They
If
were
he's
not
doing
good.
coke.
He's just like running around on stage. Someone throws a flag at him. He's like, "Yeah!" And like, what is he serving?
What is he giving? I'd like to know.
Every female pop star, like them or not, every single one of them has like choreography, set pieces,
so much training
costumes.
goes into.
It is effort.
Is there
It
a-
is
is there
blood,
even a
sweat,
set?
and
Like,
tears.
what?
It
I've
is
seen
just a
nothing.
stage. That is, or even okay. I don't like Azalea Banks, and I don't like that she did this. But like, or I don't care that she did this. Even Azalea Banks, like just doing her little one-woman shows in New York. Like at least you can tell that she has like a performer's like gravitas. She knows how to command a stage. Harry Styles just gets the reactions that he gets while he's on stage because people find him hot, and I'm so sick of pretending that
Yeah,
that's not true.
That's also. I mean, there are male musicians that people just like regardless if they're hot.
Absolutely.
And give them more credit. But I do think one of the biggest problems is, like, Harry Styles, I think, like, would you listen to Harry Styles? I mean, most people, it's harder for musicians, period, to want to be listened to if they're not attractive. But honestly,
Would you listen to Harry Styles if
seriously-
he were ugly?
Would you?
No.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. And would you?
I would be blasting. Listen. I love Gaga. She's one of the most. I would blast that music no matter who was
Sure,
singing it.
yeah.
No matter who.
Right.
But I.
Jesse Nelson could be singing it, and I would still blast. I would still
Jesse
blast
Nelson
that.
could be singing
Blast that.
Blast it. And this kind of brings me to Justin Bieber. I mean, Justin Bieber truly. I don't think anybody listens to Justin Bieber who isn't attracted to him.
That is 100% true.
Like Harry Styles, I think there are just people who maybe just like are okay with like boring pop music and just listen to him because they like the boring pop music.
Uh-huh.
There's not a single person who would tolerate Justin Bieber if it wasn't for the fact
I
he
mean,
was hot.
come on. He's
They
not. First
think
of all,
he's hot. I don't
yeah,
think
exactly.
he's
Yeah.
hot. He
I
looks
mean,
like a brother
come
to me.
on, you guys. I need to like. I want to do like a mental wellness check on people who listen to Justin Bieber in 2021.
Like, listen, if you like his if you have nostalgia for his teeny bopper era,
I don't even think. No, I'm sorry. I don't know if this is just because like I grew up as a boy in that era, and so it's like a lot easier for me to like hate on Justin Bieber. I don't even think that's allowed.
I'm not saying it's good, but I can, because listen, I'll let somebody enjoy their nostalgia.
Okay,
Who am
maybe.
Who am I to say?
I'm a
don't?
hater.
You're a hater.
I'm a hater.
I'm a hater. Okay.
Hater.
I'm a hater too. I mean, I never listened to any of those teeny boppers
Mhm.
growing up. But again, if you have that nostalgia and you just got nostalgia and you want to listen to that Harry Styles, nope, Justin Bieber, go for it.
Go for it. Whatever.
But
get your
Anything
zhuzh.
he's released
I think he's released like in the past decade.
in the past decade is truly devoid. There's maybe a few songs here and there. Like, I'd say, like, maybe some... Purpose was wildly successful. That charted really well because it just matched the aesthetic of pop music at the time so well.
And I think what was that part of like the like precipice of his like redemption arc too?
Probably.
Right. Did journals come after that?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I didn't know
I
how
also-
to read then.
I also don't care.
Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, I just don't really care for him as a person.
No, he
and
seems
he just
like
doesn't
awful.
get really in trouble
Nope.
very easily.
Nope. I was listening to my favorite two podcast gals, I was listening
The
to
Celebrity Memoir Book Club?
yeah, but this is their podcast before that they stopped doing because they weren't good at it. I love them though. I love them. And they were talking about this like Justin Bieber's like get out of jail free card for a very long time, and I'm assuming still currently. It's just him being like, "Oh gosh, you took what I said seriously. Oh, I'm just such a scamp. I'm such a
scamp.
I was raised poorly because I was a child star. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh
Well,
no."
it's just like you can't really use that excuse when like there's like people growing up in who are the exact same age
Yep.
as you who didn't behave.
Who
like
know how to
this.
behave.
There's like many child stars from the same time who are the same age as him who didn't turn out that way.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who's close enough to him is maybe like Miley Cyrus. We'll talk about Miley Cyrus another time.
One day, yeah.
Oh my god, did we talk about Miley Cyrus in our artists we don't like conversation?
I think you had her on the list,
I don't
and
know
then
if I
I
did.
don't think you got to her.
If you're wondering,
Do you
I
wanna
don't
drop-
like Miley Cyrus very much. Again, this is not my lane, but my impression of her, from what I saw, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Kind of like the sheer amount of appropriation that she did at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then how fast that she dropped
You know what's funny?
everything she did.
You would not be the only person who was rubbed wrong by that. I just want to say, you would not be alone in that.
I'm not surprised.
You're not alone in that.
It felt so gross to me.
Mhm.
And I don't know if she did it on purpose or if she meant any malicious. I don't know. I don't care about her.
I don't care
really
about
like
Miley
her
Cyrus.
music.
It's not out of malice. No hate. No peace and love to
But I
Miley
do-
Cyrus. I'd be more interesting, I guess. I don't know.
I find her music either boring or incredibly bad. Yeah,
I wouldn't even-
smoke pot. Yeah, you know that song?
I love that song. I love that song. I love that song.
That song is so bad.
I love
That's
that
one of the
song.
worst songs I've ever.
I
I've ever
love
heard.
that song.
That album is. I tried to listen
Horrifying.
to it.
It is
was one of the
horrifying.
worst
I
things
also
I've
tried to
ever
listen to it. It is genuinely horrifying.
Yeah,
I-
it's just so it just always rubbed me the wrong way what Miley did.
I don't
how she
actively-
got her way to. I mean, she got to fame by like, oh my God, white women doing things that shaking butt.
White
wearing
women doing
grills.
black people things. Oh, whoa. She's a bad girl
And then
now.
She's like, never mind, I am good now.
I'm normal now.
country
I'm
music."
younger now.
Is that the name of the album?
Yeah,
or
that's what
something?
the album's called. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was called Malibu.
No, that's one of the songs on the album.
Oh,
Called
word.
Younger Now.
Oh,
Yeah, so now you know.
I'm not a true Miley
But
Cyrus.
yeah,
I don't hate her.
no.
But it's kind of weird how I feel like that's not huge in the public conversation.
I don't dislike Miley Cyrus. I think she's an excellent singer. She seems like a perfectly pleasant person, and
You think she's an excellent singer? You've told me multiple times that you don't like her.
I don't like her voice, but I think she has a good voice. You know what I mean? Have you ever? Well, okay. I need to clarify this. That
I
is
don't like her voice, but I think she has a good voice.
okay. No. Listen to me.
You
Listen.
personally don't like it.
Yeah, I personally do not like it. And I feel this is how I feel about like literally every Broadway singer. I
Mhm.
do not like how any Broadway singer sounds. They always sound too good. There's no personality.
Sure.
But like I can recognize that technically they are good singers and they sing well.
Oh, okay,
That's what I'm
yes,
talking
okay.
about. I think, and
True.
I don't think that Miley Cyrus has no personality or anything like that. I think that she has a good singing voice.
Yes.
It's got a lot of persona in it. It's very well suited to certain things. Like I think her cover of Jolene, like this is a basic opinion, but her cover of Jolene's very good. Obviously,
It is good.
I just don't like how she sounds when she sings.
Also, if you are really sitting here and acting like her cover of Heart of Glass is better than the original, Electric Chair.
Electric chair.
But that's just my opinion.
Electric
But that's just my
chair.
opinion. That's just my opinion.
That's my fact.
That's just an opinion.
That's
a
my
game
fact.
opinion.
A game opinion. Thanks for watching.
Stupid. But Miley Cyrus is not a male. This is off topic.
Let's go back to men.
Justin Bieber. Yeah, well, first of all, he just doesn't get in trouble
No.
for any of the things that he does. And he did some really gross, schemy things recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact, I mean, first of all, calling his album Justice was like already a huge like what? Which would have been fine if it was about
Anything.
if it was
If it were about anything at all.
justice. But
it
it's
isn't.
about
It's about
wife,
him. It's about
wife,
him.
My wife.
My
is
wife who I
nice.
hate. My stupid wife who I
My
hate.
stupid. No, he likes her on this album.
I don't
apparently.
know. I'm just kind of obsessed with the conspiracy theory that Justin Bieber hates Hailey
Oh,
Bieber.
yeah, I think it's funny.
It's so fun. Did you see that apparently there's like a like Demi Lovato had Hailey Bieber on like an Instagram live once and they were interviewing her and they were like, people say that Justin Bieber's mean to you. Is he mean to you? And she was like, "Ugh, obviously my my husband isn't mean to me. It's like, that is what you say if your husband's mean to you.
Oh, I don't care. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, I don't care. But
when they're playing skee ball and she's like, "Hey, look at my score. He's mad that I beat him."
he's like incensed. He's literally like outraged about it.
Yeah.
Someone called him like, somebody called her his like live-in sober companion that like he married. He married her to help him get sober.
Oh.
And I do kind of...
I don't know anything about any of this.
I kind of believe it. I don't know. I think I'm in my celebrity gossip era, unfortunately. For better and for worse, I am in my celebrity gossip era. And I do kind of believe that Justin Bieber is absolutely, like, I don't want to say using, but like, Haley is assisting him in his rebrand as like a good person, where he used to be a bad person.
Which hasn't worked because
it
he's
has not
been
worked.
a good person.
No.
Well, well,
not by a lot
let me go
anyway.
in a little more depth about the problem I have with this album.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, it can't releasing an album so soon after like giant social outrage and political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to phrase that.
Yeah.
After a big political era of social growth and
social movements.
There we go, Mamma Mia, social
Mamma
movements.
Mia, that's the spicy social movement you got there.
After everything that we went through.
After everything we've been through.
After everything we've been through. After everything.
AOC's canceled though.
I don't know. What?
AOC's canceled though.
AOC is canceled though. After everything we've been through, why would you name the album Justice?
Why would you name the album?
Make it about nothing.
And then have an MLK interlude on it, a song that is actively titled
the
MLK interlude.
Part of it also, it cuts off when MLK says justice to make it sound like he's saying Justin.
It is one of the most embarrassing things I have ever heard in my life.
Believe?
In my life. In my whole life.
Can you believe?
My whole life.
I can't believe.
Did you know that Justin Bieber is so lonely?
That song also is a crime.
It's terrible. It is genuinely terrible.
He's allowed to be sad. And
no, he
feel
isn't.
sad.
I actually disagree. I don't think Justin Bieber is allowed to be sad anymore. If Britney Spears can put out a song on Blackout called "Why Should I Be Sad," then I think that Justin Bieber better follow suit and stop being sad. That's all I have to say.
Cheer up, Justin.
Do you want to talk about another Justin?
Let me finish my thoughts on Justin Bieber. Oh, this is when I want to finish my.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go right ahead.
Again, not my lane. Again, another thing I just find funny: Justin Bieber with dreads.
I always forget about that.
I could never forget.
I always forget about the dreads moment.
Anytime white people have dreads, I always find it pretty funny.
I think it's mostly funny because it looks bad. Yeah.
It looks truly horrendous.
Yeah, it's like, did nobody tell you that you look terrible?
I guess
not.
Do
you not have like a single trusted individual in your life who would say to your face, "Hey, you look really bad"?
I guess not.
I suppose not. Like, they don't have to be of color. It could be any person.
Just a stranger down the street.
It could be a stranger down the street who looks you dead in the eye and say, "You look like you smell bad.
You don't look good, girl.
You don't look good.
You
hey,
don't look good, girl.
You don't look good." I want to tell you. I hope that. Of course, this is just the nature of the show that every white person with dreads is listening to it right now.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you all that you don't look good. Hey, friend, you don't look good.
You don't look good. Is it working?
Is
it finally working? Can you hear me through this mic? No?
Not really. Not like clearly.
Well, wait, is it?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Just thought I'd check, just thought I'd see if there's a working mic that
just
isn't
like
that one.
a glimmer of hope.
Just a glimmer of hope.
In these dark times.
But instead I am still talking from space.
Yeah, it's okay. You came down to Earth for like a second, just like stop and get a soda, and then you came back.
You wanted to talk about Justin Timberlake.
Actually,
I got a Dr. Pepper, by the way, if you were wondering.
That's a good one to get. And
I love Dr. Peppy.
I don't have a lot of like well-developed opinions about Justin Timberlake, other than like.
There's nothing I can say about Justin Timberlake that people haven't already.
Yeah, that hasn't already been said by Justin Timberlake about Justin Timberlake. He's embarrassing.
I've always kind of felt that he was kind of schemy for everything he's done. And I was wondering when he would get his comeuppance, and he did.
He did?
I mean, yeah.
What would you say? Was that
around last Super Bowl time, and around the same time that Britney Spears dropped. Spears, what's it called? Oh, Britney Spears documentary dropped.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
And around the time of the last Super Bowl, people were reflecting on what he did to Janet Jackson and how he kind of evaded that entire situation, and what he did to Britney Spears, and stuff like that.
I don't think Justin Bieber. Nope, wrong one. I don't think Justin Timberlake is, and I don't even care that much about Britney Spears or like their relationship. I don't think that Justin Bieber. Wow, I just
Justin
love.
Timberlake?
There are too many Justins in my brain right now, and I'm one of them. I just think that there's nothing that man could do to make up for the fact that like he is like a heel, just like a little heel
He just did so much gross
to
stuff.
Britney
Yeah.
and to Janet. Like there's nothing you can do or
And
say.
He only apologized when people started to get mad at him.
He only apologized to like for like the extra attention of like already being in the press. You might as well try to like steer it in your advantage, and it doesn't work because nobody likes him.
Yeah, and I knew at some point people would eventually wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But he was still like popular up until the Trolls movie song.
Well, yet another Oscar
Can't
nominee.
Stop the Feeling.
Yet another Oscar nominee.
He was and like it wasn't until after that song that people stopped caring about
Can
him.
you believe that he
honestly,
like tried to
which is
Can you believe that he tried to rebrand as an actor for a little while too?
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yes,
He had
he
that
did.
one movie.
He had like at least 3.
I don't remember any of them. What had Mila? Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis.
All right, who are some other men though? Can you name a man?
Who's men?
For $1, name a man.
Name a man. Who am I thinking of? I don't have that much negative to say about The Weeknd.
No, I don't think the
But
Weeknd's
I will
mediocre.
say,
But I think
as a whole, again, just another guy who gets a lot more credit than like women who do very similar things.
Sure. I think that if you put me alone in a room with The Weeknd, we would have nothing to talk about because I don't think that he's very interesting.
I think he
Like,
doesn't
as a-
speak.
like, in
I
his
just
personal
think
life.
he astral projects his thoughts to everybody around him.
Yeah, I could see that.
He's just very quiet.
I
He
want to
goes,
know. I
"Wow,
want to know what
wow,
he talks about with
wow,
any
wow,
of the people
wow,
he's
wow."
ever like dated or been in a room with. Like,
Me too.
again, my biggest thing is I want to know what him and Bella Hadid like do when they're alone.
Yeah. I feel like they just sit like legs folded and stare at each other. But anyway,
They just play
musically,
patty cake.
I will say he has some really great songs,
Yeah.
but again,
Musically, I have no issues with The Weeknd, honestly.
but yeah, there are women who do the same thing who get very little. I mean, as a whole, every female pop musician has to work a million times harder. And
For
this
half
is
the
something
credit.
that Taylor Swift said in her documentary.
Uh-huh.
Once again, referencing Taylor Swift, Take a Drink.
We have to, yeah.
Um,
Once per episode, we have to circle back to Taylor Swift,
At
and
some
if we
point,
don't, we
have to
will
talk
die.
about really why we like Taylor Swift at some point.
I think it's
have
yeah.
a long time ago, but I just think we really have to address it because unless people already know us and we know why. But that's for another time, maybe next week. Oh, but next week I have something I want to talk about.
Okay.
So, not that.
Okay.
Or I could just talk about it now, honestly, because I don't have that many other
What
things.
was
I talking about before? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift said, when it comes to women in music, they have to change themselves constantly.
Mhm.
You can't stay the same musician.
Nope.
Because people will get bored and they'll want something different.
Yep.
But this just doesn't exist
It
for
never
male
exists for
musicians.
men because men are like background music for everything, and people are more comfortable using it for advertising than they are for women.
That's a good point.
I just kind of made that up on the fly, but I do think it's partially
It's
true.
definitely like, I do think like, I don't know, but it is an interesting thing to think. I don't know if it's true, but it's interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think. So one of the things I was thinking about, this has nothing to do with men,
Okay.
but it does have to do with misogyny.
Okay.
is
That
the
that
theme
has a
of the
lot. That
show.
does have a lot to do with men.
Yesterday I was watching Tony Fantano, old Tony Fantano.
Okay.
Did a video. Somebody asked him to watch the Madonna Jimmy Fallon thing. Did you watch that?
I didn't watch it.
It's just like them being awkward and
Okay.
Jimmy like awkwardly flirting with her. Super weird.
Okay.
Super weird.
Okay.
But Madonna clearly asked Jimmy Fallon to say, hey, it seems like a whole bunch of artists want to steal your ideas without giving you credit.
Is that something that he said outright?
Yes. And she was like, yeah, nobody does it as good as me.
Literally, who on her team paid him to say that?
I know. It seems like no matter, like, everywhere Madonna goes, she needs somebody to say, hey, you're really good at what you do. And
Why do
nobody
we
does
need
it
to?
better."
Why do we need to do this still?
Here, well, first of all, obviously this is about Lady Gaga.
It's always about Lady Gaga.
I am a little monster, but I also listen to a lot of Madonna. I don't like Madonna as a person. She's very sketchy, kind of schemy, kind of catty, shady.
Uh-huh.
I don't care for her.
Right.
I have no real emotional attachment to her.
Sure.
But I'm going to put aside my feelings about Lady Gaga and that I like her personally and that I
Mhm.
think she's cool.
Uh-huh.
I'm putting all that aside. And I've said this and this is very controversial.
Uh-huh.
because people are quick just to say, Gaga, all she did. Well, first of all, there's not that much similar about them.
Can I make a brief insert very quickly?
Yes.
I like that in this episode where we're talking about men aren't even worth talking about for the whole episode.
There's like, it's because male musicians are so boring.
I know.
Male pop musicians are so boring.
I know.
There's nothing to say.
There's nothing to say.
Anyway, but now we got that off our chest. So if you like Justin Bieber and Harry Styles,
Reevaluate that.
Reevaluate that.
Be more interesting.
So here's my opinion about the whole Gaga Madonna debacle. Generally, my feelings is that Madonna is the inventor, and Gaga is the innovator.
Okay. But
one thing that always bothers me is that people are quick to compare Gaga and Madonna, but they refuse. Nobody compares Lady Gaga to any of the other many influences who she said she takes inspiration from.
Sure.
Like Janet Jackson, which is, if you pay attention, a whole lot of inspiration is taken from Janet Jackson.
Can you talk more about that? Because I don't actually know that much about it.
About Janet Jackson?
Yeah, about like her drawings from Janet Jackson, because I actually don't know a lot about that.
Well, Janet Jackson is also somebody who carries this like huge sexual energy, cares so much about like women's sexual liberation.
Right.
Has a lot of similar camp, a lot of similar aesthetics.
Okay, yeah.
And people got mad at Lizzo for saying this, but I honestly agree with Lizzo, where Lizzo said that Janet Jackson is the queen of pop and not Madonna.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. That's
I'm
correct.
Not quick. I think they do similar things, but I just think generally Janet Jackson gets very little credit for anything she's done.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
I care very much about Janet Jackson.
Yeah,
I love Janet Jackson.
I think that's a fair assessment.
And Janet Jackson and Gaga have so many similar points. Also, Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Grace Jones, a lot of people Gaga has taken inspiration from.
A lot of people who needless to say, Madonna has also taken inspiration
Madonna has also taken inspiration
because Madonna is not the originator of this like high camp, high drama, high subversive performance style just because she was probably one of the more popular people to do it.
And also one of the more loud. She was just louder than everybody
at
the end of the day.
Yeah.
And one of the problems I have about Madonna is something that Gaga didn't really do. Is Madonna kind of latched onto queer culture?
Madonna pretends to own, and Gaga participates.
That is a great way to phrase it, because one thing that is always this is a very common thing that criticism people have for Madonna that's kind of disappeared over time. It still exists, but the criticism of Vogue, which is people gave Madonna so much credit for popularizing Vogue culture, which was a very, very real thing before her, that pretty much existed in like gay clubs,
and that's
with black trans women voguing and drag queens.
And I think
and she took it and made it to the mainstream, which isn't inherently bad, but pretty much voguing is so tied to Madonna now, and Gaga has never done that. I don't think she always made sure that. Well, first of all, she's a gay woman. She's a queer person.
Well, so is Madonna.
Is Madonna bi?
I think so.
I don't know.
I believe she identifies as bi. I could be wrong about that.
You want to fact check that?
I'll fact check that while you continue to speak.
But
speak your truth.
I do. Regardless, Gaga has always been clear and done pretty much every moment that she spends talking. She makes a moment to say how important gay people are. Like, and Madonna to me just isn't the same. Not that she hasn't. But people comparing Express Yourself and Born This Way to me is like apples and oranges. Is there anything? Has she said anything? Because I don't think she's bi. I think she's just kissed women publicly.
Didn't she like have like? Wasn't there like this one model in the '90s who was like her like paramour for a little while?
I don't remember.
I didn't know Cameron.
I don't think she's ever come out. Again, she doesn't need to.
No, she doesn't need to. The Material Girl is the queen of living life by her own terms. In 1991, she told The Advocate, "I think everybody has a bisexual nature. That's my theory. I could be wrong." Model Jenny Shimizu, who this is. This is who I was talking about. Or she's. I don't know. This website got her name wrong, I think. Claims she dated Angelina Jolie and Madonna at the same time. She also says that she was Madonna's booty call. There's another word that precedes that. There's another term for that precedes that I'm not going to talk about.
Okay.
Madonna says, "I think gay women claim me as their own because I am a really strong woman. I'm assertive in a lot of ways that gay women..." Okay, I'm not going to read this anymore. I'm not going to finish this.
I don't want to hear that.
I don't know. Needless to say,
I will
there's
say
a question
Madonna
mark.
has drawn a distinction between her and the gay community, I feel like. I don't know
Really?
if that's true. I
Really?
feel like Gaga has been like, I stand with the gays.
Yeah, I think Gaga gets into it. Gaga gets
stands with.
yeah.
What you said. What you said.
I think part of it also is that Madonna like very aggressively perceives herself as like above it too.
Yes.
Part of it, like she like above the commoners. I don't think she likes having fans.
I don't know.
I don't think Madonna like.
know.
I don't think Madonna enjoys having
She's
fans.
just such a diva in every way.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not here to discredit all of the impact Madonna has had.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was saying a second ago is Express Yourself and Born This Way are Express Yourself is just a general like. It could be like Brave by Sarah Bareilles.
Isn't Express Yourself also like a lot more
down?
down tempo as a song?
It doesn't. To me, it sounds nothing like.
Yeah, they
Born
don't think
This
they're
Way.
similar at all.
It's just like it's so.
Because Born This Way is like very aggressively like an anthem.
Born
like
This
it's
Way
it's a
huge song.
It's meant to be like actively sonically empowering. It is an anthem, and I do not think Express Yourself
is like a really it's boppy.
Yeah.
To me, nothing about them sounds the same besides being empowerment
Right.
songs. But Express Yourself is way more vague. Again, it's more like Roar
Right.
than it is Born This Way.
No one's talking about how Katy Perry ripped off Madonna.
But I do think it's kind of upsetting, and I feel bad for Gaga. And she's been upset with comparisons because, again, at the end of the day, they're just like blonde women.
Do you think that this is something
And that's why people compare them
is
so
not
often.
necessarily Madonna's fault, and that like they're both kind of victims of people comparing them because they're
Yeah.
both weird women in pop? But it's something
But
that like
the problem
Madonna
is
is leaning into it.
Madonna leans into it. Well, Madonna, unfortunately, also comes from an era that still exists today, but it was a lot more blatant at the time, where if you're a female pop musician, you cannot coexist with anybody else.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And that's just kind of what she. But
So it is kind of a
I just
yeah.
don't want to hear those comparisons. Also, yeah, Gaga has taken things way more to a 10.
I'm
than
sick of
Madonna has.
It's like I feel the same way about this, like as I do
also,
when people are
real
like,
quick, Madonna has more bad music than Gaga.
oh, absolutely.
Like,
I
way
mean,
more
yeah.
bad music. And I like Madonna, and I love when she's bad.
Mhm.
I love her.
but she does
music.
absolutely when she's bad, she's terrible.
She's terrible. And I love
Here's my
it.
thing. I feel the same way about Madonna. People talking about Madonna as like I do about the Beatles, where like however many decades, and it's been decades, however many decades later, to still pretend that like this is the benchmark is insane.
Yeah.
When so many like equally influential artists have come and gone and are here still.
Yeah.
You want to say that someone who like peaked 30 years ago, or like peaked 20 to 30 years ago,
Yeah.
is still as influential today?
The Beatles, 20 to 30 years.
20 years. Well, but like Madonna.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The Beatles like different than Madonna because again, Beatles were big, were a lot more inventive than Madonna was.
Right, but what I'm saying is like to pretend that like some of these artists who are like several decades old are actively as influential today as they were then is insane
true.
and objectively just not true.
It is
I promise you that
insane.
artists like Gaga or Taylor
Yeah.
have 10 times more impact on contemporary artists coming up right now than Madonna does.
Yeah, I mean
They can
things
exist in Madonna's legacy. This is true.
Yeah.
But to say that Madonna actively influences them is just or they're like it to like they're actively
It's crazy.
derivative of Madonna is just not correct.
It is not.
It's not
it is
correct.
It is not. That is not.
It is simply not
correct.
correct. You can like blaze a trail, but like you at some point you do have to accept that like you are not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
You do not you are
And
no
this has
longer
been
a
so
trailblazer.
true. There's been, the last successful Madonna album was what, like Bedtime Stories?
I don't
Everything
know.
else has been like
Madonna doesn't.
maybe Ray of Light, but like Confessions of a Dance Floor people liked, but it wasn't big.
Mhm.
Sure, not American Life. Sure, not music. Sure, not Madam X or any Rebel Heart, anything else.
No.
Nobody. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you just have to accept like Gaga, and it's also not just Gaga.
We've moved on.
We have moved on. There's a million artists who, like, just because you were one of the first people to be flamboyant and have boobies out,
Mhm.
like, thank you for having your boobies out so that other people can have their boobies out. But also, yeah,
You can't keep
Gaga,
acting like
Gaga
you are.
wasn't the only person, which also bothers me.
Uh-huh.
It seems like Gaga takes all the heat from taking inspiration from Madonna when like everybody does.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Again, just because they were like blonde Italian
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Italian ladies.
Yeah.
and had similar aesthetics. But
Mhm.
again, a lot of people had similar aesthetics
Yep.
to Madonna. I find it all to be rooting in like misogyny and like putting women in categories and in boxes
Right.
like this. It's always bothered me.
And-
Also the genre of again, people are like, oh, like Rain on Me, Babylon, it sounds like Madonna. Well, Madonna is just one person in a genre who made gay club music.
And that is why Rain on Me is such an important song, because it shows that 2 Italian-American female pop stars can exist at once. In conclusion,
Italians are oppressed.
Italians are oppressed, and you only like Harry Styles because he's hot.
And Justin Bieber, even more.
Even more so.
All right, that's the end of the show. I'm sorry I sound really bad.
I'm not sorry about it.
Rain on me, tsunami.
Hands up to the sky.
This is WMUC Digital signing off.
Bye.
Adios.
Sayonara.
What?